from the Ticats Audio Network. This is the Ticats This Week.
It's another rock and roll episode of Ticats This Week. Give us a like, hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. Can't imagine anyone who has not already done that, because we have been talking about a winning football team for 6 consecutive games now. The Ticats are on a serious heater. In fact, they're the hottest team in the Canadian Football League. Welcome one and all. It's Ticats This Week. Rick Zamperin, Simoni Lawrence, Matt Bucknor. We have a bevy of topics that we're going to get to today, including we're going to talk a little hate on for Vancouver. I know it's kind of hard to hate on the left coast, but I'm sure we'll dig up some things that we can think about. We're also going to get into what's going right with this Ticats team. 6 games in a row that they've won. That's not easy in today's parity-laden Canadian Football League. But first off, as we usually do, we'll go through the standings, go through what else is going on this week. We also got some roster moves to talk about, too, for the Tiger Cats. They have released linebacker DB Brandon Dozier. They've signed running back Kevin Brown, most recently of Edmonton and Toronto, and long snapper Simon Chavez from the Argos and the Red Blacks. And we'll talk about why they've done that in a couple of minutes. Keandre Smith, CFL Honor Roll, Pro Football Focus honoring him with, he honored us with his outstanding play against the Elks last week, and we'll talk a little bit about Keandre and this offense coming up. Standings in the Canadian Football League. In the West, it's the Rough Riders at 7-1, Hamilton in Regina next week, and maybe we're talking about 8 wins in a row at that point. Stampeders at 5-3, the Blue Bombers 4-3, the Lions 3-5 as they come into Hamilton Stadium this Thursday night. The Elks rounding out the pack out west at 1-6. The Tiger Cats number 1 in the East at 6-2. Montreal's 5-3. The Argos and Red Blacks both at 2-6. And beyond BC at Hamilton this Thursday night in the Hammer, Edmonton's at Montreal on Friday, and a double dip on Saturday. The Red Blacks in Toronto, and Winnipeg takes on the Stamps in Calgary. Boys, let's get right to it. The Tiger Cats, winners of 6 in a row. They have won 7 games in a row 3 times before. It goes to show you how hard it is to get 6, even 7 wins in a row. And the last 3 times that the Ticats have won 7 in a row, not only have they finished first in the division, they've also gone to the Grey Cup. So food for thought for all the fans listening in and watching in. Sim, we'll start with you on this one. What did we learn about the Tiger Cats following their win in Edmonton?
He's fired up right now. He's fired up.
What did we
Come
learn?
on.
Yes.
We learned that if you got a star quarterback and he is playing to his potential consistently, it's hard to beat him. Let alone hard to beat him, it's hard to ever count them out. Because I got to start with a couple of plays from Bo Levi Mitchell this day that I was just like, oh, okay. Bo's playing way ahead of the schedule. Like, I love watching quarterbacks. Like, that was one of my favorite things to do as a will linebacker, just the mannerisms of the quarterback. The coolest thing happened in this football game when they were going to get the game-winning touchdown to Tim White. Bo Levi came up to the line of scrimmage. He looked to his left, right? He makes eye contact with the high player. He notifies who the high player is. Now he's just playing with him like this, looking before pre-snap, and then he snaps the ball. And then most quarterbacks, when they try to get you, they just move their heads and eyes. But what Bo did, he gave him the whole shoulders too, and he took the high player right off of his landmark, and he came right back and hit Tim White for the touchdown. I was like, oh, he's just playing around with these guys at this point. That's why it's 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 6. We could go for it, because it's like child's play. Because these defensive backs haven't seen enough coverage that Bo Levi has already seen before. He's already way ahead of the game. Once he gets to the line of scrimmage, he chuckles in the helmet. Probably coach is like, hey, you see it? He's like, yup, let's go. You know what I'm saying? And that's how far ahead that Bo Levi and Scott Milanovich is ahead of a lot of people. So that's why our offense looking dang good. They're consistently making plays when they need it. And you know who else is making consistent plays when you need it? I'm mad because we gave up all them rushing yards and it was making me upset. But they're making plays when you need it most. We just talked about how great Bo Levi was at moving the high player. You know who wasn't great at moving the high player? That's Cody Fajardo. In the back of the game, he did not move. He stared down his receiver the whole time, and Goose intercepted that pass. And the Edmonton Elks were up 24 to 21 at the time. And I'm like, oh, wow, look at these guys. That's what the difference between having a Bo Levi and a Cody Fajardo. And that's right there. That's why we're winning the games, because we're playing great turnover football. Our defense got 2 turnovers, and we have great quarterback play. Once you have great quarterback play and the defense is causing the turnovers, it's going to be hard to beat a Hamilton Tiger Cats team like this.
Matt, what did you learn about this team following the 28-24 win in Edmonton?
That there's a few things that was learned. That any team that's going up against this Hamilton Tiger Cat team, they have to. It's so cliche, but you have to play 4 quarters against these guys, this unit, because there's no quit in these Cats. They're gonna get to that fourth quarter, whether they're up, they're down. They're gonna find a way to claw and find a way to win football games, and this is a sign of a really good team. And aside from that, Sim, I love that you talked about Bo Levi and the offense and Keandre and the reception, the touchdown reception to Tim White. Hey, Sim, we got to give a little bit more love to this defense right now. And I think, again, they came out a little. Fajardo was hot coming out the gate. He was hot. He was 16 for 16 at one point, and it didn't look like he was missing a beat. But what I'm learning about this team is they have so many impact players, and that's across the board. We talk about Keandre, we talk about Kenny Lawler, we talked about Tim White, Bo Levi, and then on the other side, on the defensive side, there's a lot of impact players too. That we had Reggie Stubblefield, who had 6 tackles, 2 TFLs, impact plays that he was making. Then you had Jamal Peters, same thing. He had 5 tackles. He also had a couple TFLs too, and those TFLs, he's smacking those running backs in the backfield on some of those. And there was the one on the jet sweep where they try to get number 11 there from Edmonton, and Jamal Peters is in the backfield right away making impact plays. And so those types of plays, and of course, like I mentioned, Reggie, and you can't forget about Stavs' impact play where they needed a play. They needed something right now, and Stavs was able to go and steal one right out the air, which is something that he's been doing the entirety of the season, just showing up when the team needs him. And so impact players making impact plays, which also which translates to points for the team, and ultimately a big time win for Hamilton. So this has just been great to see. It's been good football across the board, and of course the special teams has been they've been doing their thing too. So shout out to all 3 phases of the game.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what I learned from this team after the win on Edmonton. I'll cozy up to the microphone here because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that this team was on the road for 3 straight weeks. It doesn't matter that they lost their long snapper to injury. It doesn't matter that they lost their middle linebacker to injury. It doesn't matter that they were trailing in the 4th quarter. It doesn't matter that they were up against it because Cody Fajardo was red hot. It doesn't matter that they were in a 1-hour weather delay. This Ticats team, week in and week out, finds a way to win when their backs are against the wall, when they have injury issues, when they're trailing. They get the job done, whether it's Bo Levi, Keandre Smith, Kenny Lawler, Tim White, the defense, Goose, Jamal Peters with some big stops, Stubblefield all over the field. It doesn't matter what situation they're in. They get the dub, and they've done it for 6 weeks in a row. So I'm liking what I'm seeing, and I think Ticats fans should be ecstatic with what this team has brought to the table. And other CFL fans of other teams must be thinking, doesn't matter what we do, we can't beat these guys. So how they're going.
It don't matter, especially because they win in the 3 things that matter in football. The hitting battle. Matt talked about that. They're dominating in the hitting battle. Even though, we need to get right on defense in this tackling department. Some we're hitting. Yes. We're still hitting. We do need to get better tackling because what teams are doing to our defense now, they're bringing the last person to the box was dang near the field corner. That's how condensed they're making the box now, and all these teams are getting all these running games, and we got to do a better job with the fits and everything like that. But it doesn't matter. I feel still, in my opinion, we're winning the ultimate hitting battle overall. The turnover ratio, we're not turning the football over. and then we're taking the ball away. That's the recipe right there every single day of the week. If you ask any coach, you like, hey, give me 3 things and I can guarantee we win the game. That's the 3 right there. The hit and battle, you not turning the ball over, and you taking the ball away.
Matt, Hamilton, as I referenced, lost a handful of players due to injury against the Elks. Devin Verasuk, Gordon White, the long snapper, Tyler Ternowski left the game late. Yet they still got the W. How does that happen?
I'm going to go 2 words here, and I'm going to say Team Ted. Team Ted on this one. And I think Ted Gavaya, who did an outstanding job assembling this team during the offseason, him and of course the rest of the staff. But assembling this team, because one of the things that was needed was depth, right? And you mentioned a guy goes down, who's going to come in and fill in, and I think that's been the recipe. So we saw Greg Bell get hurt; he missed a handful of games earlier in the season. Johnny Augustine came in and he filled in very well, and we saw Trayshawn Ward do the exact same thing, come in and they had their spots. You mentioned Tanowski. Tanowski gets hurt, so we still have Canadian depth. We still have Canadian depth that can fill in. We're Brugling can go in and spell if we need. You also have Brandon Orlear-Orange as another Canadian receiver that can go in and spell. So I think the makeup of this team is so deep, and I think that's what's allowing these guys to continue to have their success. Of course, Devin Verasuk went down, and Verasuk gets hurt. Who's filling in? Baker's coming in, and he's filling in nicely. The defense didn't skip a beat when Verasuk went down, and so again, it's seeing some of the guys that are coming in to fill in. Of course, Verasuk is going to be the starter as long as he's healthy. Ternowski, he's going to get his reps as long as he's healthy. But when a guy goes down, there's going to be some guys, and even we mentioned too, Stubblefield was hurt earlier in the year. Brandon Dozier, who unfortunately was just released, he was filling in, right, and he did his thing. So I think this is just a really good job of with Ted Gavaya assembling this team and making sure that they have the right pieces in, and like even now, with White going down and his status is unknown, they're bringing in a long snapper right away. There's no wasted time, wasted space. They're trying to make sure that if a guy goes down, the guys that can come in and fill in are very capable to execute the job.
Sim, a lot of the guys that we talked about, that Matt brought up, are Canadian guys as well. That Canadian depth is important because more often than not, the team that wins the Grey Cup usually has the best crop of Canadians, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's just been the history of it. And the thing about the Canadian depth is you got to want to play football. You can't be one of those guys that's, I'm okay just, playing my little one special team. No, you should be trying to push these starters off of special teams. You shouldn't want your star linebacker getting all these reps on special teams and starting middle linebacker in his first season. He can't handle that body load wise, So if the Canadians really got to start stepping up and making sure they're on all 4 special teams, every single one of them, because it's a very long season. And the thing that happens to a lot of players, I've seen this happen to Sally Aluminium one year. He was on special teams and playing defense. I'm like, bro, your body can't handle all that. You got to just chill a little bit. You know what I mean?
Solid,
and then he's blocking somebody and boom, you know what I mean? It's because you got to learn how to manage your body and your load. And the way that you can do that is by these Canadian players that are in on this roster, and not just being on the roster to be on the roster, taking a job from somebody that already has a job. Because I see a lot of our special teams players doubling up right now. And hey, you got to do that sometimes. But what makes a team special is when you see all them Canadian, they used to just put the Canadian flag on the special teams, right? And then the boys that go catch bodies, you know what I'm saying? Like kamikazes,
Yeah.
Because to play special teams is different, Like, I can't play punt because if they put me on punt, everybody's going to try to come and kill me because you know what I mean? Like, it's just like it's a hitman type of mentality, and some of these guys are all this. They do this for real. Like, it's rustling. These guys know how to hold you the right way. They'll trip you. It's dangerous on special teams. You know what I'm saying?
It's wild.
You need those. Am I lying, man?
No, man.
It's different.
It's different.
One
it's
time
different.
you're running, somebody grabs your face mask, brings you in close, like you get punched in the ring. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy out out there on special teams. So, look, I know we always talk about the offense and defense, but special teams is dirty work. Think about this, Rick. On special teams one time, right? I'm playing the front line. Greenwood from Toronto's foaming out the mouth, like just screaming and stuff. And I know that's my number to block. You know what I'm saying? Because Jeff made sure that was my number to block. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
shout out Rambo.
Yes,
let's do this. We get it, right? He's coming full speed. I'm going full speed. Boom! Just impact, and I got my block. He went the other way, but special teams is really built for the show, and that's how you get it done. A lot of them Cosmicati Canadians that go on special teams making all those big plays for us. Think about our biggest plays last year versus Toronto when Litre dips through the line that always tries to hold, gets the block. That was beautiful. In my opinion, that was like a big turnaround of the season in that game, because that's when they got everything like, oh my gosh, we can do this. And think about, and these guys, we talked about it earlier, they're blocking on kick return. I watched that return on kick return to start off the game, the 75-yard return. Ooh, Canadians, they got the technique is perfect. But the ball, hands inside, driving the feet, you know what I'm saying? Because how many times I've been seeing all these other returners break stuff and getting holding penalties and it brought back. Our boys are using proper technique while Wooden's dipping and diving, cutting through the left. So I'm proud of our Canadian talent. And then we got to talk about defense. You go right down middle row. You see what I'm saying? You got Verisuk and then Stavros Kassatonis. He's right there making his plays. Kassatonis been for this for a while. He makes that pick interception, game changer right there. So when you have this kind of talent on the team, you're expected to produce, because you can look over at the team we just played, like Edmonton. Edmonton put a lot of money into their Canadian talent. On the defensive line, they put almost like $1 million off on the Canadian talent on their defense with Ford and everybody else in that defensive line, and they're not producing. When you pay certain players, you want them to produce. And the thing that's going on for us right now as well with the Canadian talent, the people that we thought would produce, like a Reggie Stubbenfield, like Kassatonis, Verisuk, Jamal Peters, Moxie, Amos, Tauber. You see what Wilburn, they're all producing on the level of what's going on. And the same over there with the offense. Your quarterback play, number one, Kenny Lawler, been a freaking, he paid the man, and look what he's doing. There's nothing better than the best player that gets paid the most making the most plays. That does so much for the locker room, you know what I'm saying? And then the consistency of it. So, Matt, we talked about Team Ted. Yeah, it's Team Ted. He knew the right people to keep in the building. He knew the right people that needed to come in and mix. And he also knew what was peanut butter and jelly, because over there in Edmonton, they got peanut butter and mayonnaise. I don't know who did that. Not me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to understand the difference.
Hold the peanut butter and mayo, please.
Yeah,
Hey,
God.
It might be somebody's flavor, but I need peanut butter and jelly all over the board. And if you look at this Hamilton Tiger Cat board, you got peanut butter and jelly all over the board. You know what I mean? And it all makes sense. Like a wide receiver room with Kenny Lawler, Keandre, Tim White. It makes sense in that wide receiver room. Everybody can be themselves, and it's enough of like a different type of personality, so it's not too much of one thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's that's what you do when you're building a football team as well. You can't just say, oh, this person, they're going to work well in the game. No, you got to understand, well, if I got this person, I know I got to bring this person in here, or, well, this person good, so he can control all of that. And that's why I think Ted did a great job at doing. He needed some party starters. He's like, hey, I know the party starter. I went in there. We was talking. I was like, that man right there, you can guarantee he go do the same thing all the time. You know, Ken, he's really like that. He's always been like that. So I think it's just the difference with not just the Canadian talent that we have, Rick, but the way the team is orchestrated. It's orchestrated around success and peanut butter and jelly, and not peanut butter and mayo.
Listen, if anyone is daring enough to try peanut butter and mayo, hit us up in the comments to let us know what it's like.
I don't want to know the aftermath of that one. I don't want to know the aftermath.
Hold those details, please. 6-2 Ticats hosting the 3-5 BC Lions this Thursday night. The pregame show on the Ticats Audio Network begins at 6:30. Kickoff is at 7:30. It's also Shea Rally Day. Miles Garrell is going to get added to the Ticats Wall of Honor. We'll get to those two topics in just a matter of minutes. But Sim, we'll stay with you on this one. It is a super short week for the Tiger Cats. 3 games in 12 days. Are these short weeks in terms of game prep? Like, what are they like? And when you played them, did you like them, or did you say, man, this is just too much?
Come on, ain't nobody saying this is too much. Not when we on the 6-game winning streak. We trying to keep putting it on them. Yeah, my body hurt, but so what? This winning feel good. Winning feel good. You know, Rick, let me tell you something about winning, bro. When you're winning, everything feels good. You know what I'm saying? The way people talk to you feel better. The way the hugs, they feel better. The way people ride you around feels better. The way people give you your groceries, it feels better. It just, everything feels addicted, you know, and nothing's better than keeping the winning train going. And right now, the boys, they're doing a great job taking care of their bodies, because it's not like they're just winning. They're getting rewarded on their winning. So they're able to take care of their bodies. Like, you know, like there's a certain amount of days each week. Usually teams practice like 3 days a week, but like sometimes you have to do what makes sense. When you're going against a team like this, like I'm like, oh man, I only need 1 day of like real prep work to run around on this field. I need to spend more time taking care of my body, because that's the two things like that people really have to put in each other's hands. It's like, all right, coach, like we'll go out there and ball for you, but like I need a couple of days on these legs. My legs is hurting right now. And that's one of those team consensus of like, how can we make this better for our team? Like, all right, coach be like, all right, bet. I'm like, I'll give you this day, and then you guys make this day this, or 1, 2, 3 all days in one. But like when we do this, you got to go out there and like give me a reason to do that again. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's happening. You know what I'm saying? They're getting these nice days between to make sure these legs are fresh. And you not only you playing for your teammates, you playing for your coaches now, because you feel like they got money in the pot too. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they got money on my legs too. All right, bet. Let's go get right for them. So yeah, I mean, you're not worried about it right now, because all these teams, especially with Coach Milanovic and Bo and the guys that just been Coach Orlando that been here for a while, you know, they understand what the body needs and what the body doesn't need and what the body can get away with, and how you can keep momentum going with a undefeated team is by like putting them to play against themselves. It's like, all right, we got this day off, so we gonna have to, if we want another day off, we gotta win. You know what I'm saying? So I think they're doing a great job doing that as well. Yep,
it's a great incentive for sure, Matt. I know the schedule's condensed, it's crammed for the Ticats, but I get, you know, the one benefit for them is they played BC a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, so it's not so much physical at this point for these guys. A lot of it, you know, Sim talked about they're gonna scale back a little bit on the number of hours or number of days that they're gonna be on the field, and so a lot of it's gonna be mental prep for these guys. And so it's the mental side where it's studying the film, getting in the playbook, understanding your opponent. They might make a few. They may have some stuff that they might go to attack against BC that they saw the last game, and then of course vice versa. BC is probably looking at some things that they were going to want to attack too. But for Hamilton, who's on this 3-game in 12-day stretch, you know, there's a few things that can happen. You know, you can start to feel sorry for yourself when you're looking at the schedule and say, oh, why do we got to do this? And why do I got to beat 3 games in 12 days? Or it's like, hey, listen, we're pros. Let's just get this. Let's just attack what we got to attack right now. We got a bye week coming up in a few weeks. So, hey, we get to play the greatest game in the world. 3 days, you know, 3 days or 3 games, 12 days. Put a 4th game in there. We don't care. Like, you know, like you said, Rick, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, so it's just like, let's go out here and let's attack what we have to attack. Now, on the flip side of things, now, you know, I'm as an analyst, you know, what I'm going to say is to have 3 days, to have 3 games in 12 days, and one of the things that teams or the league talks about is player safety. You know, and in my opinion, as an analyst, is like, this is not this is not preaching player safety at all, at all. You're telling me that you want to put the caps on these guys' heads and make sure that they're practicing with these caps on the head, or sometimes you see some teams that they're playing with these guys with these caps on. Okay, you have that part, but then you're going to tell me that these guys are going to play three games, and that's not player safety. You're not taking care of the guys. And so I think what the league needs to do is they need to clean this up. There shouldn't be any stretch for any team. No team should be going through this type of stretch, because after a game, like Sim, we usually talked about the car crashes that you guys are having on special teams and then on defense, and then you got to come back and play in 2 days, 3 days. It's not taking care of the players, and we want to have a good product on the field. So having these guys playing 3 games in this stretch. I'm not saying the product's not going to be good, because this is the Hamilton Tigercats and they've been on a tear. They're about to go and win the 7th game. But in the grand scheme of things, you want to have a great product. Let's space the games out a little bit better. Let's be a little bit better with the scheduling. I can understand it's tough. There's a lot of other things going on in the stadiums, but let's take care of these players. Let's take care of these players, because the players. I remember my rookie season. Ray Williams. I don't know if you guys remember Ray Williams. But Ray Williams, he was in practice one day and he was like, "Hey, you take care of me, I'm gonna take care of you." And so it's like it's that sentiment, and that goes across the board. You take care of the players. The players, Sim, you said it. Like the players are gonna have that extra incentive to take care of these coaches. They're gonna want to win more for these coaches. And so just taking care of these guys overall. Again, we all went through it. I went through it when I played, but I never complained, because I love the game. But like stepping out of it and now looking at it from from a different lens. Let's take care of these guys. Let's take care of these guys and space these games out.
I feel you, Matt, and the Hamilton Tirecast, they're winning that right now, because regardless if you like it or not, this is just part of football. Sometimes you're going to get the short end of the stick and have to play 3 games. Now you got to see who has the best football team, and that's what it's always about at the end of the day. How are our coaches going to help our players get ready for this game, cut back on this or do this to make sure that they're okay? How can we get more massage therapists in to make sure our players' bodies are ready, and that everybody is booking appointments to make sure that they are stretched and taking care of their bodies so they're able to perform at the highest levels? Because one thing about professional sports and professional football, there's no excuses on game day. You have to perform. Right. And it's up to you and the staff within your building to get you ready to perform for these type of games. Like, I'm going to be real. Like, sometimes I love these games just because it's who's taking their body, who has the better body, whose car can only drive up the road and then it has to take a breath and then fill up right away. I'm like, nah, this is a premium, baby. You're going to get everything I got every single game, because I got the best car. I got the best vehicle. I'm the toughest. I don't, like, you guys can make all these rules for the little babies and cry, but like, I'm bringing my body into this season to show them I'm built way different than all the other cars. You know what I'm saying? Because that's part of being a professional too. It's like, you got to take ownership of this. You can't work out at Gold's Gym all off season and then say, "Hey, I'm ready for a football season." That's why I talk so much during football, like, because I used to watch people work out at Gold's Gym and do laps around the track, and then y'all want me to come up here. I just flew out to California. I'm going to yoga in the morning. I got training in the afternoon. I got weight training that night, and then I got more yoga at the night. 4 workouts all throughout the week, and I'm watching people just. Oh, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get defensive player of the year before this year. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of the game too. It's like, you can't look for a scapegoat in no kind of sport like this. You know what I mean? Because this sport is always gonna demand what it demands. So that's why I said we're doing a great job with the way that we're scheduling practice and everything. And so we're giving the guys the same significant rest that they would get if they were playing in a game 2 days, because they might only practice 1 day. You see what I'm saying? So it's up to your team and your management team to make sure the load's not too much, because that's why the general managers and all those other guys get paid, to manage the players, make sure everybody is able to perform at a high level. And that's the true definition that's happening on this football team right now. I think that they have the players to make sure these guys' loads aren't too much.
Matt, let's start with you on this one, and we're going to go to the other side of the field, and that's the BC Lions. While it's a short week for the Ticats, 3 games in 12 days, including the last one on Saturday. BC's coming off the bye week. Their last game was against the Tiger Cats a couple of Sundays ago, and I'm sure they're foaming at the mouth to get back on the field, but they're a well-rested unit. Is that to their advantage, or is there a disadvantage to that as well?
Right now, I'm going to say it's a disadvantage for BC, and the reason being is because they just got off of a loss going into the bye week. And so you have a loss, and you're playing a team that's hot. And so we see this all the time. When teams are winning, they're just going to find ways to continue that trajectory, continue that momentum. It just happens all the time in a lot of different sports, football especially. And so coming off the bye, if BC had won going into the bye, it's a different, but they lost. And so like now there's probably some rumblings going on in the locker room. There's probably some changes that's going on with the personnel, and the coaching staff's trying to make some adjustments, because right now they're a 3-5 football team right now that's scraping to keep themselves above water to fight for playoff spots. Hamilton, different story. They have this 6-game winning streak going. They're 6-2 at the moment, and so it's sitting first in the East. So they have a little bit more. So the advantage, I think, is more psychological for Hamilton right now. So does BC have a few rested players going into this game? Yes, they do. But I think just with the makeup of this Hamilton team, like Sim was talking about, how the team it's made up so well, and the orchestration of this football team, I think this team is made, and especially the way that they've been performing and executing. And this team, they're ready, and the game's at home. They're playing. BC has to travel, so I think the advantage right now is Hamilton, just based on the winning streak, and BC coming off that loss going into their bye.
I feel like that makes a lot of sense, Matt. But I'm one of those guys where it's like we're halfway in this football season. All right, the players are finally in shape. Like all the players that don't take care of themselves, all those guys are finally about to get in shape during the half of the season and stuff.
Right.
So it's like, so pretty much it's like, it's always the mental notes, like, you know what I mean? It's always the mental reps. So I would argue that the only reason we have advantage right now is because we're playing at home, and we're going to get that home momentum burst. You know what I'm saying? You run a little faster, jump a little higher, and everything playing in Hamilton. But the thing is, BC got to not only get a break during the week, but they got to watch more tape during that week. So now they're already a week ahead prepared. Now this is another extra week for them going against the same team. So mentally, those guys will be they should be more sharper on like plays and everything. They'll have all kind of stuff like how to counter and stuff, because we're a little behind on the prep week, because we just had a game, and now we got to refocus and get back to this next team that we're playing. So mentally, I think BC's going to come out here, and they're going to be like way more like prepared, mentally sharper, because I feel like they had more weeks to prepare to get ready for this football game. So, I mean, this is going to be one of those games where it's like, this is angle football type of game, you know what I mean? Like, you're going against a fast team, and you understand that these guys are going to come out here fresh and flashing and blasting, and the only way to counter that is to hit them, and you got to play angle football until you hit them enough where they just, all right, now everybody got the same legs, you know what I mean? So, like, that's what the Hamilton Tiger Cats are going to have to do this game. They're going to have to play great angle football, know how to get to the spots before the other team gets to the spot, because, like, hey, some people just going to be a little faster than you right now. So it's called angle football, baby. Get to the spot. And that comes with studying and preparation. So that's why I love the fact that the Hamilton Tiger Cats just took a couple days to stay and get mentally sharp in the film room, and then only one day of practice this week, rest the legs, because that's what the game, and they understand that as well, too. So I feel like it's going to be a great game, because, I feel we already big dogs, but they're going to come in here with that energy until somebody knocks it out of them. And the way our defense been playing, Jamal Peters, Reggie Stubb, Uno, Casatonis, Amos, even the way Amos be coming in hitting. Osaya coming off that defensive line. He is a pass rusher. That boy can rush.
Got a motor. He's got a motor.
He got a motor. You know what I'm saying? He just got to get his little 50-50 technique right. That's going to take eyes and technique. And anytime they let you free, bro, they ain't never letting you free, bro.
Don't take the bait.
Don't take the bait. As soon as you see nothing, bro, widen.
Settle.
And widen. See, bro, that was literally my rule. When I used to come off the edge and I was too free, I would always be like, wait, what? And then take a step out. And I used to get tackles not even seeing people doing that.
It's the instinct right there.
No, it's crazy, bro. Yeah, man. We're good.
Tiger Cats are looking for their first 7-game winning streak since 2019 and only the 4th one in franchise history when they host the BC Lions this coming Thursday night. Tiger Cats pregame kicks off at 6:30. Kickoff itself is at 7:30, and we'll have a whole lot of fun on the Ticats audio network. The Ticats are not only playing the Lions for the second time in 3 weeks, but Forge FC is going to be taking on the Vancouver Whitecaps in the Canadian Championship semifinal starting August 13th. The first leg is in Hamilton Stadium. Leg number 2 is in September in Vancouver. Simoni, what do you like to hate about Vancouver?
Man, everything about Vancouver. They don't even get the elements like we get out here in Hamilton. Y'all got a little beautiful scenery, but it be raining a lot. Y'all can't just walk outside on the corner and go get any kind of cultural food like we can out here in Hamilton. So if you're hungry, when you come here for this Forge game, make sure you check out all the restaurants because we got the best restaurants out here in Hamilton. And you also get that gritty feel. You know, sometimes in Vancouver, you know, y'all be walking like this with the umbrella. Oh, don't touch me. Don't touch me. In Hamilton, you got to feel the love. You feel me? Because we people and we all love each other. You feel what I'm saying? Unless we don't, because Forge FC is about to go and put belt to butt. I know y'all usually don't get this kind of talk, soccer fans, but this is how we talk in football. When we say we inviting y'all into our home, you come in our home, we're going to treat you very nice. You know, we're going to take your jackets, we're going to hang them on the door, but when we ring that bell, that's a whole lot of and that's what we've been doing. You know, not only our Hamilton Tiger Cats is on a winning streak, Forge FC is also on a winning streak. That's just what we do in Hamilton. We win. So I can't believe y'all told me that Vancouver is bringing both of their teams to Hamilton to get body bagged this week. That's why I got my Forge hat on and my Ticat hat on. Zip them up, boys. Zip them up, boys.
A double dip. Matt, what do you love to hate about Vancouver?
Man, Sim said it too. He said like they got the nice little scenery, you know, like you drive down the streets, you got the mountains in the backdrop and all that. But then, yeah, it's like there's way too much rain out there. It's raining all the time. It's like I can't deal with all that. And then another thing too is their fans are a little fickle out there. You know, when BC's doing well, you know, they might come and pull up to a game and show up, show out. You know, but then once they start losing, that you look at BC place, that place is a little empty. So, and then you come out to Hamilton, win, lose, draw. You know, the Hamilton fans, they come and they support their teams, both Forge FC and the Ticats. And so I think Hamilton's got a great fan base. It's you know, you come to Hamilton Stadium. It's one of they talk about it. It's one of the tougher stadiums to play in as a visitor. And so it's BC's coming out. BC's coming out. They got their work cut out for them. You're not just playing the team. You're playing the city. The city comes and pulls up, and the city comes and shows up.
They playing the city for real. And we got fire establishments that open past certain times. You go out in BC after a win, you try to have a good time. They shutting everything down.
Where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go?
You come out here,
Gas Town?
All day.
You're gonna go to Gas Town? Or what are you gonna do in BC, man?
Party all day. I might give you the spot, but you gotta cut the chizzy.
Hey, don't put it on the air right now. Don't put it on the air yet, bro.
I'll tell you what I love to hate about Vancouver, and I really do. It's a pretty place. Let's face it. I love Canada, but it's too far. I remember those road trips out west, the flights. Like it's so far. You think you're almost there, and like you're in Manitoba, and like, oh my gosh, we're not there yet. You still got 2.5 hours to go. Like, reel it in a bit. But yeah, gorgeous city, and I'm so looking forward to Forge FC and the Vancouver Whitecaps. It's going to be a great home and home. Leg number 1 is August 13th. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, go to the website, get them, and it should be a great couple of games against the Whitecaps. Last topic, this Thursday, Not only is it Ticats Lions, not only is that 6-game winning streak on the line, but it is Shea Rally Day. The one and only Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is going to be in the hizzy and going to get honored. I know, Simoni, you're going to be with Kate Burness talking about all the great things that Shea has done on the floor. And Miles Garrell is going to be added to the Ticats Wall of Honor at halftime on Thursday. Matt, where do you want to start with these two legends?
Well, I'll start with Shea. You mentioned Shea first. I'll start with Shea, and I think it's really it's awesome. It's an incredible. I think this is a credible time for Hamilton sports. You have a kid from the city that has not only did he win the NBA championship, he was the MVP of the league this year. And I don't know what he averaged. I have no idea what he averaged per year or per game. What his stats were. But the man was just he's on a tear. And when he's just so like silky smooth when he's going through the lane with the basketball. And it's truly poetry. I was talking to my boys about it during the playoffs and during the regular season. It's like watching Shea play basketball is literally poetry in motion because he has the mid-range game. He has that three ball in his bag too, and then he's just so efficient with the basketball too. You don't really see him turn the ball over. And one thing that I love about Shea is he's a guy that's gonna always you hear him in the press conferences or they do the post game. And anytime they do the post game, it's always with the team. Like he's always brings the guys around and like the guys are always hyping him up or he's hyping somebody else up. And so you can see that there's some genuine love with that team that he has. And I think he was a big part of like kind of orchestrating that culture. So you get to see that he's kind of developed into a great leader, not only a basketball player, but a great leader. And I think this is just something that Hamilton fans can, get excited about because we don't know if we're going to see something like this again. Maybe they go back to back. Maybe OKC goes back to back. But to have a player from the city win the MVP as well as the championship, and then of course be the MVP of the championship is just I think it's just an incredible feat and something that should definitely be celebrated because it's so hard to do at that level, especially. So so shout out to Shea, Hamilton kid. Love to see it. Love to see it.
And just on Miles Garrell before I get Sim's thoughts.
Sorry, and Miles
Matt?
too. Yes,
Yeah.
Miles again, another legend, another Hamilton Ticat legend who played O-line. Went to the University of Ottawa. He was an Eastern All-Star, five-time Eastern All-Star, and as well as a Grey Cup champion, and won that in 1986. And so he was the guy that played the position. I obviously did not get to see him play, but we have conversations. I've always have conversations with season ticket holders, and they just talk about. You always hear different players that come up. You always hear some of the players that come up, and he was definitely one of them, just based on he was definitely another player that represents the city. He was gritty, he's tough, he's physical, and he played with passion, and you hear that description of his game, and I think it's awesome that we're gonna have another Ticat up on the wall on this upcoming game, and you love to see these legends getting their flowers while they're still around.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander averaged 32.7 points this season in the regular season. That was number one. So he won the scoring title. He won the regular season MVP, NBA Finals MVP, the championship. Like, he did it all. And the one stat, before I throw it to Sim, the one stat of Miles Garrell that I love, and I only recently learned this, is that he was like 6'8", 6'9". He was a monolith on the offensive line. Everyone else in his family is like 5'0". Like he was the one guy who, I don't know, he had the genes that just made him huge and a great football player. Sim, Shea, and Miles, your thoughts on those two guys?
And that's why he built different, Look, any offensive lineman, shout out to Miles, that gets inducted to the Hall of Fame had to be a nasty boy. You know what I mean? Because that's the only thing we respected. I get mad at the offensive linemen a lot because they do nasty things, you know what I mean? They might grab you a little bit, jerk you, hit you after the play, put an elbow in your shoulder, punch you a little bit, grab you and hip toss you. but that's all part of the game. If I'm that big, I'm doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So when you got guys like that on your football team, annoying offensive linemen like Miles Garrell that was consistently good. He was a CFL East All-Star 5 times. What is that like, Simoni? I don't know. Yeah, I do. But if Miles Garrell is a literal legend, you know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to toughness, you're going to see so many people around him showing him love because a lot of offensive linemen imitate their game and attitude after a guy like that, and it epitomizes the way that people play football in Hamilton, the tough, gritty, the way you like it. And he won a Grey Cup with the Hamilton Tiger Cats and then played in another Grey Cup a year after that with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So he's not just a great offensive lineman to be in the league that long. He was also a great leader, and people took towards him. And speaking of leaders, we got to talk about Shea. Shea's the ultimate leader of the NBA. To be the MVP of the league and to have your teammates love you and want to be around you, all that, and still motivate them and go and win a championship, that's hard to do. But it's not hard to do with somebody with the Hamilton culture inside of them. Because you know one thing about Hamilton, you're used to having to manage a lot. You know what I'm saying? You might have to be here doing this at one moment, then here doing this at one moment, but still have to do a double at work and then watch your kids at night. It's a different kind of energy here. So you're used to taking a lot on. So when you see him looking like Kobe-ish, running through the lanes, nice and pretty, Euro flaming young, you know what I'm saying? Like for the older guys, that's like the new thing the kids be doing with the layup, you feel me? Filet! And he's so smooth with it, and it just looks effortless. It's like the only way they really stop Shea is when they tackle him. You know what I mean? Like they literally gotta tackle Shea to stop him. That's how nice he is. And then he got every single thing in his arsenal. He nice at this and that, you know. So to sit here and have the honor to go up there with the TSN Cape Burness and be representing Hamilton Sports Group and hosting this with them, that's an honor. What? We're not just talking about any regular basketball player. Like, you could say what you want. He's the best basketball player in the world right now. You can't tell me anybody that wouldn't want to be MVP of the league and win the championship. Nobody in the NBA does not strive for that kind of greatness. And he was blessed enough to get that greatness. And not only get that greatness, bring that trophy back to where he's from and shine his light on his city and let it shine. Woo! Gotta salute the young king, bro.
Absolutely. Pretty awesome that a kid from Hamilton is the best basketball player on the planet. And by the way, there's a lot of people that play basketball all over the world. It's unbelievable. It's going to be a great event on Thursday. Tiger Cats, Lions, Shea Rally Day, Miles Garrell being added to the Ticats Wall of Honor. Don't forget Forge FC and the Vancouver Whitecaps leg 1 of their 2-game Canadian Championship semifinal begins August 13th at Hamilton Stadium. That's going to be a rock'em sock'em affair as well. The Ticats and Lions pregame show on the Ticats Audio Network begins at 6:30. Kickoff is at 7:30. Like this video, subscribe. A new episode of Ticats This Week drops next week. For Simoni Lawrence and Matt Bucknor, I'm Rick Zamperin. Thank you for checking out Ticats This Week on the Ticats Audio Network.
This has been the Ticats This Week on the Ticats Audio Network. Like, follow, and get a deeper understanding of your Hamilton Tiger Cats.